During the late 90s, an unusual phenomenon occurred on the boxing scene. An overweight 300-plus pound man became a household name in America.
So I'm just going to go out there and throw punches. I'm just going out winging. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're going out there just throwing a lot of punches.
Eric Esch, more commonly known as Butterbean, had a rough time growing up as an overweight kid, bullied to death, and completely fed up with life. That was until he discovered his true talent for knocking guys clean out. Welcome back to Greatest Hits here on Boxing Legends TV. It's been a while since we broke down a fighter's career in a format like this, so I thought who better to cover than the 300-pound knockout machine, Butterbean.
Butterbean has got a strategy I've never heard of. He said, I'm going to forget everything that they try to teach me about boxing, and I'm going to go mug this guy.
If you enjoy watching someone getting their brains stirred to mush, you're going to enjoy this. A thumbs up would be appreciated, and as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel to help us close in on the big 1 million mark. Without any further ado, here's now a look at Butterbean's greatest hits. Eric made his television debut on November 30th, 1994. After a short and successful career in the Tough Man contest leagues in Alabama, he was convinced by some close friends to take up professional boxing for real. And as you're about to see, he wasn't exactly a polished fighter at this point.
Tough Man contest. He won several regional tournaments and got to the national finals twice before being bested there.
So Butterbean coming forward with some good shots.
And you're seeing some Tough Man windmilling by Butterbean. He still has that.
He's getting nailed though by Norris.
His opponent, Doug Norris, made it through the first round, something that didn't happen often as Butterbean's career progressed.
They clashed heads and that's what hurt Doug Norris. I was joking, but that was the problem. Well, it's wild now, folks, and there goes Doug Norris. Well, he never should have slugged with him.
Get instant thunder to forgive all the previous sins of the fight.
Butterbean made it to the boxing big time on August 15, 1995, as he was featured on ESPN's Tuesday Night Fights.
Butterbean Edge.
His opponent, Paul Springer, was a jacked-up 275-pound debutant looking to make a name for himself. However, boxing isn't a bodybuilding contest.
And he is an APF National Powerlifting Champion.
Some of the pushing tactics that Paul Springer's using. You know, like most in their debut, Paul Springer can probably give it, but can he take it?
The bout didn't even last 60 seconds, as Butterbean caught the slow lumbering Springer with two hard-snapping short right hooks. The big man from Texas never fought again.
Suckers think you're tripping with, yes, I'm the boss. 745, white on white, that's Rick Ross.
4 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division.
October 35th, 1995, Eric matched up with a one-on-one heavyweight, Pat Jackson. Both guys were inexperienced and ready to let some shots fly for the 4,000 screaming fans in attendance. And they weren't disappointed. Only, it wasn't one of the boxers getting knocked out.
For more here in Kenner, Louisiana. Stay with us.
Local referee Terry Wood got caught with a vicious left hook as the bell sounded for the end of round 3 and was ruled unfit to continue. Before a replacement was made, Jackson decided he didn't want to be the next man laid unconscious and quit in his corner. Eric faced his first major test on December 5th, 1995.
Louis, the facelifter Monaco.
His undefeated opponent, Louis Monaco, was tipped to have a bright career, and it seemed the networks were bored of watching Butterbean against random firefighters from Alabama.
I think you're safe in assuming that. There is Butterbean. He will race across the ring and attempt to get Monaco down quickly, and by golly, that's just what he did.
Eric proved he was ready for the test after scoring a knockdown before the timer had even begun. Monaco got up and gave it all he had, but was floored again soon after, and then put away for good with a minute to go in the first.
There goes Monaco. I mean, there he goes.
Despite Monaco's poor efforts, he did indeed go on to be a journeyman of note, fighting some of the division's most recognizable names in Eddie Chambers, Layman Brewster, and Vitaly Klitschko. Butterbean made his way onto a Floyd Mayweather Jr. undercard on March 23, 1998.
And I've always been up against guys that always seem to be 10 times bigger than me. And I strive on that. It makes me hungry.
At this point, Eric had a huge record of 38 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. The latter coming to the hometown hero, Bill Eaton, who gave Eric a run for his money a few months prior.
The only way Butterbean is going to wear me out is lay on me with that obese body of his. As far as toe-to-toe, I can stand toe-to-toe with King Kong.
I thought I won the last fight.
He will go down.
The two had built up a slight disdain for each other, and the fans were wondering how the 100-plus pound weight advantage would play out this time around.
Keep your hands up. Have a good bite.
Thank you very much. And indeed, Butterbean says he will go at him, but this time a lot more cautiously. And Eaton coming out very confident in the early going.
Landed a couple of clean punches already. Eaton did.
Bill stayed true to his words as he thoroughly outboxed the bigger man in the opening rounds. Eric knew he had to draw his tricky opponent in so he could get to work on the inside, and after a few taunts, his plan paid off.
Shape, actually, they're giving a great performance.
Bean's shape, tribute to the commission. He's been in with a new nutritionist, and Eaton dropped again. Bean caught it in there, square on the chin, all but over. Bean, target practice. Over now. It's all over.
Butterbean, you told me you were going to slug tonight, but you boxed a little bit in the earlier rounds. Is that what made this fight for you?
I think it was. I wanted to see what he had. And he boxed a little better, but once I started catching him, it was over.
August 25, 1998. The Bean's infamous knockouts began attracting tons of attention from all around America, as opposed to just the South.
We have Butterbean, who is always action-packed. The fights are great.
The Blue Horizon boxing venue in Philly is regarded as one of the greatest places to box in the world. It's an honor for any man to step through those legendary ropes, but the hardcore boxing fans in attendance were unsure whether to take this 300-pound circus act seriously.
Philadelphia, very many purists among the fans, and I think they said that they'd see Butterbean at the Blue, on the day the Tuesday night fights goes off the air.
Eric soon silenced the critics as he scored a spectacular overhand right after a tidy little feint to his left.
Really paying off for Butterbean.
It is halfway through the big right hand.
Dealing with a four-headed monster. Y'all are John McCain, you can't lift your arms up. These piranhas live by a certain code of conduct. Fuck fly holes and blow ganja.
February 17, 2000. Butterbean was back on ESPN Tuesday Night Fights after a string of impressive knockouts on HBO.
Right to the bite, the left hook that landed flush on the jaw.
His opponent for the night was another low-level journeyman by the name of Kevin Talon. The fans were starting to get tired of those easy blowouts for Butterbean as they booed him throughout, despite some heavy leather being thrown from the opening bell.
As we've come to the end of round number 1, Butterbean in control. Talon with some counterpunching of his own. Butterbean missing with the right hand, scoring with the left.
The all-action slugfest ended in the 3rd round as Eric put him away for good with a powerful 3-punch combination.
Different psyche. A whole different sport. Put it in front of him to nail him a little bit like Funmaker, and Talon just can't.
Three weeks later, on March 4th, 2000, Eric was back in the ring and stepping up the competition as he faced the 18-4 George Lindbergher for the IBA Super Heavyweight title.
Terminator Lindbergher.
The crowd were expecting a fairly evenly matched contest as Lindbergher had promised. Butterbean had other ideas.
If you jab against Butterbean, you will land the punch, but people do that for a couple of rounds, and then ultimately, of course, he's quite... It takes long. Oh, it didn't take long for Butterbean. I don't think he's missing. He's out.
If the ref counted him out as soon as he hit the ground, this fight would rank somewhere in the top 10 fastest KOs in heavyweight history.
Butterbean likely got out of the ring before that left hand.
It was Judgment Day on July 27, 2002. Butterbean matched up with the former 2-time heavyweight super champion Larry Holmes, a man that had beaten the likes of Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, and Ernie Shavers. A true legend of the ring that had a jab so sharp it could knock out the best contenders in a split second.
There's no one in the world today could beat me.
Some bookmakers had Butterbean as a 25-1 underdog, and no one thought he could pull it off. To be fair, this was the first time he'd ever surpassed the 4-round limit in his entire 70-fight career. Larry Holmes was almost 53 years old, but that snappy jab looked just as good as it did in the 70s.
Computers early too, so here we go. Larry Holmes dancing around. Holmes said to us earlier, he thinks this is a 3-round fight.
And then can put in a second, third, and fourth jab, which is something he hasn't had in the other fights.
Right hand by Holmes, and Butterbean comes back with a right.
And that's just about it as far as the highlights go. A nice 30-second start for Holmes, but as the rounds went on, the fight drastically slowed down. Neither fighter could get a rhythm going as the crowd booed for the clinches in abundance.
And if you can't catch a 52-year-old guy who takes 5 steps back, I gotta tell you, you're not doing a very good job.
Larry was the better of the two throughout, and most people had him up by 8 or 9 points heading into the 10th and final round.
Larry Holmes is trying to go 10 rounds for the 14th time since he turned 40.
The punch was scored an official knockdown, but later replays from better angles showed it to be nothing more than a slip. Larry got the decision and kept good to his word of never fighting again. Butterbean knew that he wasn't quite the fighter he was a few years prior. But what a special night for a former bullying victim that was told he'd never amount to anything in his life. Hardcore boxing fans often give Eric a hard time about his rather unusual career, but never once has he claimed to be a slick boxer or some elite world beater. He was a 350-pound beast that could knock over most men on planet Earth in under a minute, and that's what the fans tuned in to see.